Hey y'all, Mama Snark here. I'm going to do a quick little video here on my biggest tips to help with motion sickness on a cruise. Can you cruise if you have motion sickness? The answer is yes. You won't not have motion sickness. Like, this isn't gonna be a cure-all, like all of a sudden you just magically have zero motion sickness. But it does help make it manageable so that you can actually enjoy your cruise and not end up like, you know, just in your cabin green the whole time. So my first tip is going to be, and this is kind of like across the board, is ginger. Ginger. Any kind of ginger product. So my biggest one that it's kind of like the quickest, easiest, you know, fastest working is the Jinjin's Ginger Chews. And I know there are other brands that make like similar-ish kind of, you know, like ginger chew products for like morning sickness if you're pregnant, which these work great for that too. I use these in my pregnancy. They work great for like amusement park rides. In Disney World, there are a couple of rides that make me super sick. But if I take one of these like while we're waiting in line, and then I chew another one when we're on the ride, and then another one when we get off, I can kind of manage it depending on what the ride is. Not Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, because that takes me out. But so like for a cruise, when we first started kind of like moving and getting a little bit like getting our sea legs, getting used to the movement of the ship, my friend Maggie and I both started chewing these, and we just kind of like throughout the trip would chew one when we got like a little bit queasy. These are the super strong, like super strength Jinjins, the blue package. It says it has 30% strength. 30%. The regular ones I think have 10%. So this is triple the amount of ginger. It might be a little bit trickier if you have kids. Kids don't typically like the taste of ginger because it is a little bit spicy, but I love the taste of ginger, so it's not a problem for me. But chewing these helps tremendously. So before we left for the cruise, I just discovered these like right before we left. This is called, let's see, Motion Calm Melty Tablets, and it's a homeopathic one. And I'll link everything in the description box below that I can. So these are Melty Tablets. Let's see, that one's closer to one. So they're just little Melty Tablets right here. And you pop them out of the back, and a serving size is 2 tablets. So it recommends on the box to take 2 tablets the day before you travel. Take 2 tablets before your travel, like before you get on an airplane or a ride or the boat or whatever. And then take 2 as needed. And I think you can take up to like, let's see, take it up to 3 times a day. So what I would do, like I took 2 of them the day before, I took 2 of them right when we got on the boat. And then like for the rest of the cruise, if we had like a sea day, I would take 2 of these in the morning, and then I would typically take 2 more in the afternoon. And that in conjunction with the Jinjins helped me a lot throughout the day. The most, or I guess the easiest, is ginger ale. If you can't find it, like typically you need to take ginger ale with you, because most amusement parks or boats or anything like that, they tend to have like 7-Up or Sierra Mist or whatever, but they don't usually have ginger ale for some reason. So whenever you go on a Carnival cruise, which is where we cruised with, or who we cruised with, you can take a 12-pack of soda on board with you. So each person, or yeah, each ticketed person can take a 12-pack of soda. So I brought a 12-pack of ginger ales, and it helps to settle my stomach a lot, like a little bit of the carbonation, and it's not diet ginger ale, it's the full strength. It helps to settle my stomach. So ginger ale is kind of the cheapest, easiest, I guess, way to do it aside from the Jinjins. Biggest tip for dining rooms on a cruise. So I don't know why, but the dining rooms on the cruise tend to be at the very like back end of the boat. And a lot of times, thankfully not this time, but the 2 other times that I've cruised, my table has been like sideways. So at the back of the boat, you feel a lot of motion, like the whole back is kind of rocking. And whenever I'm sitting sideways, it throws my equilibrium off even more, and I'm like just all over the place and turn green. So I discovered on my second cruise, I did this, and I will never not do this from here on out. Take ginger tea with you. So these, and like I said, I'll link everything below. Imozai instant ginger tea with honey. So this, it's not even like a regular tea bag, it's like granules. So it's like ginger granules with honey already in it. So this is a little bit too sweet for my taste. Like it was a little bit too sweet on my end. My friend liked it. But whenever you go to a dining room, like for dinner or C-Day brunch or whatever, any kind of ginger tea that you want to bring with you, there are tons and tons of brands. I think you can get it like Target and Walmart too. Just bring like a ginger tea bag with you, or like these, it's the crystals that have the honey already mixed into it. And as soon as you sit down at your table, ask your server for a pot of hot water, which they have for like normal tea, because they have like tea times and things like that. So as soon as you sit down, ask your server for that pot of hot water and a teacup, and immediately make yourself a cup of ginger tea. Like I said, any brand, any kind of ginger tea, just make sure it's ginger tea, and start sipping on that. And that helps settle my stomach so much. And it's good for digestion too, so you get like a twofer there, I guess. But the ginger tea definitely helps to settle my stomach down. And that way I can actually enjoy my dinner and not just be green and wanting to puke the whole time. So this is my biggest tip that I have found while cruising. And then lastly, the most obvious that everyone uses is the Dramamine. So I brought the less drowsy kind, and I'm gonna tell you, even the less drowsy kind makes me loopy and kind of takes me out. And I want it to do a lot of like reading and coloring and relaxing without being doped up on this cruise. So I reserved my Dramamine for nighttime. So at night before bed, I would take a Dramamine, and it helped me sleep. So at nighttime, if you're laying down, especially if you hit the rougher seas at night, usually that first night, or maybe it's the second night, one of the nights we had pretty rough seas. So that can kind of make it hard for you to settle down and go to sleep. So take a Dramamine or two and it'll knock you out and you'll get a better night's sleep. So those are my biggest tips for handling motion sickness while you're cruising. Another one is to, like, anytime that you can, make sure you are facing the ship and the direction of travel. That helps me out a lot. So like in the dining room, this time we actually had a table that was like at a window, and my friend was nice enough to let me have the seat where I was facing forward. So I was facing the movement of the ship. So I wasn't facing like opposite, where it just makes your equilibrium kind of go all out of whack. So whenever we were like out on our balcony, I would always make sure I angled my chair to where that I could, you know, see kind of in the direction of travel. But I've tried like the C-bands before that does it's like a kind of like a sweatband wristlet, and it has a little white button, and it's supposed to hit like a pressure point to help you with nausea. That doesn't work for me. I don't know if I just don't know how to use them or like what, but it didn't work when I was pregnant either. So like I said, my biggest, easiest one is to keep some of these in your pocket at all time, or your bag, and pop one of these in your mouth, and it helps a lot. So I was able to enjoy pretty much the majority of my cruise with little motion sickness, and the little motion sickness I did have, I utilized these steps and it helped tamp it down a lot. So I was actually able to enjoy my cruise with minimal turning green this time. And like I said, this is tips learned from taking 2 previous cruises. So yeah, those are my tips and tricks for handling motion sickness on a cruise. I hope this video was helpful. Give it a like, thumbs up, ring that notification bell, follow along to my channel, and I'll see you guys later.